Hey guys, it's me, Halloween Dan, and today I'm doing part 2 of our sneak peeks at some of the leaked images coming out of LOWES. This second half maybe isn't quite as exciting as the first half, but some of these things are still really cool, still worth talking about. Many of you may have already seen some of these pictures, but I thought let's just have a little talk about them. Let's look at these things in a bit more detail. So let's do this. Just real quick, guys, I wanted to throw out there, if you haven't yet subscribed, if you could please do me the massive favour and the honour of hitting that subscribe button and becoming a subscriber of mine. I'm trying to make this channel grow. I want to reach 1,000 before Halloween would be amazing. Hit like and comment and all that fun stuff. And now let's get on with it. Once again, I've got to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Halloween Decorating Fanatics 2024, who've got a Facebook page and an Instagram page and a TikTok and a YouTube page. And they leak all these cool images and stuff all the time. And they allow YouTubers like me to use their footage, which is very, very useful. Thank you so much for allowing us all to do that. First of all, I want to just very briefly talk about the props that I didn't really properly talk about in the last video. The props in question are the 4 props, I think there really is, that are to do with Wednesday, the Netflix series. And I have to say, I think they're pretty cool. The Wednesday prop in particular looks very, very realistic. It looks like Wednesday from that series. It's clearly she's wearing the dress and in the pose, ready to do the dance, the famous TikTok dance and the dance from the series. Very, very cool. There's also a cousin It. Okay, yeah, it looks like he might do something that's quite interesting, maybe, who knows. You've also got the gate entrance sign to Nevermore Academy. Kind of cool, I suppose. And then you've got the weirdest one is the Pilgrim guy, which is the bad guy from the series. That bit, I'm not really sure I get particularly, but okay, I guess it's kind of creepy, I suppose. I think these props are okay, but they're very, very specific to that series in particular. You couldn't even, I mean, apart from maybe Cousin It and Wednesday, you couldn't really even use these in a Addams Family display or horn because they're very specific to the series of Wednesday. Unless you're really, really heavily invested in that series and really, really love it, I'm not sure how else you would display these things. But, you know, they're still pretty cool, and who really cares at the end of the day? They're kind of good, right? But now I want to talk about the sort of second batch of leaked props that we've seen over the last couple of days. Some are okay, some are actually really good in my opinion, but I wanted to sort of delve into them a little further. So the first prop I wanted to talk about is a techie prop that is being brought out by LOWES this year, and it's basically a graveyard jump scare guy. They're calling him the zombie jump scare grave animatronic, and it's a pretty basic looking prop. You've got a tombstone with RIP on it, with a very basic looking zombie prop that clearly the whole thing is it pops out of this box that's in front of the tombstone, and it's a jump scare. Now, it might not be the most advanced thing, and it, by the sounds of it, even is battery operated. So it isn't like the most powerful thing in the world either. But do you know what? I think this would actually be pretty cool. Simplistic, but cool. And sometimes I always think, like the jumping spider that I own, the more simplistic these props are, sometimes the better they are. And I think this could be one of them. It's very simplistic, maybe not that well made, but I think it would work and it would scare a few people. And at the end of the day, that's what Halloween's all about, right? So I kind of like this guy, as simplistic a prop as he is. Then there's a slightly questionable prop. I kind of like it, sort of, but it is a bit, not sure. And that is this Headless Maiden zombie prop. Now, again, aesthetically, it's very simplistic. It's kind of cool. Apparently it seems to have some phrases where it's almost like a greeter, kind of like my Harry the Butler, who's like, welcome to our house, all that kind of stuff. The only thing is, as cool as it kind of looks, I kind of like the look. The face mold on it is very basic though, and it's just got to be one of them props that's got red light up eyes. It's only 5 foot as well. Only, maybe shouldn't be using the word only, because 5 foot is quite an impressive prop. But it doesn't appear to have any further movement than the body moves a little bit. The body shifts and turns a bit, but the face doesn't do anything. The mouth doesn't move. I think it would have been cool if the mouth was moving and actually talking and saying the phrases it's saying. I think maybe just a hint of blood, maybe a bit of blood around the bottom of the head, maybe a bit of blood around the collar. I'm not usually into the gore, but that kind of would have made a bit of sense with this prop. And just generally a slightly better looking, like the hair and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a slightly better quality wig. But overall, the outfit itself, I actually am quite impressed with. I quite like the look of the dress. And I like the idea. It's a good idea. I don't really remember seeing a prop like this before. So I quite liked it. I think it's quite cool. Then we've got this 7 foot talking gargoyle prop, which I like and don't like in two different ways. Now, what I would say is the gargoyle prop we saw from Morris Costumes the other day was the gargoyle itself was a very good gargoyle. It was just the plinth, the pillar that it was sat on was kind of a bit pathetic. So that kind of detracted away from how good the gargoyle was. This gargoyle is interesting. I'm going to use the word interesting. I like the look generally, and I also like that this isn't a static prop. By what it describes it as, the wings flap, it also kind of moves its arms. It almost looks like it might stand up a little bit from its plinth. I can't tell from the picture, and it doesn't really give a lot of description. It also sounds as though it talks, but once again, we've got no mouth movement as far as the pictures look anyway. It looks like it's a static mouth, but it will be saying some creepy phrases. The pillar it's on, again, doesn't look amazing, but I would say it looks better than the Morris Costumes one from the other day. And yeah, overall, I quite like the gargoyle. I think it's quite fun. I think it's quite creepy. I don't know whether it's worth $200, which I think is what it's going for, roughly. I don't know. I kind of like it. I love gargoyle props, and they go really well in cemeteries and stuff, which is why I'm always kind of drawn to them. And I do like the fact that they've made this one an animated one and not just like a light up prop. But there's something about it. I think it's the fur around the collar and the general costume itself just kind of looks a bit poorly put together. I don't know. Until I see it in action, I'm going to reserve full judgment. I'm kind of on the fence. Then there's a clown. You all know how I feel about clowns.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
It's an 8 foot clown. The only thing that's slightly different about this clown is that it's kind of on its hands. It's up with its legs in the air, and it's like balancing on some what look like bowling pins or juggling pins. I'm not quite sure which they are. It's a clown. It's got green hair. It's got yellow eyes. It looks like a clown. I'm guessing it's got some creepy clown phrases. Again, it doesn't look like it has a huge amount of animation. I'm not sure. Maybe the legs kick. Doesn't really give a lot away. But it wouldn't be a prop for me. And again, it just is another clown in a slightly different pose. So yeah. The last main prop I wanted to talk about is this moaning animated pumpkin. Now, I can't tell. It seems to be that it's a jump scare, and the way the hands are posed, it looks as though it's gonna pop the head off. I think that might be what it's doing. I could be wrong. It has Little Jack Carver vibes, but obviously a slightly cheaper, groundbreaker version of Little Jack Carver. I'd be very surprised if it was anywhere near the quality of that. But it has the same vibe. I think it's going for the same sort of jump scare where it pops its head off. I think it's something to do with maybe it's like a scarred or a zombie-fied face underneath. So it's very, very similar to Little Jack Carver, but obviously not quite as good. I have to say, I do like the pumpkin. The pumpkin on this does look really cool. It looks like it's lit from the inside. It's a creepy looking pumpkin. It's kind of cool. The outfit is kind of generic, just looks like a sacking of some description, Hessian or something. You can see the rib cage. It's very, very basic body. The hands look okay. The head looks quite good. I'll be interested to see what its action is, because this guy is also being listed at around $200. So I don't know. Could be good, could be weird. I'm not sure. It's a mixed bag, this. There's also a huge array of tombstones, and there's an obelisk and all kinds of cool looking graveyard furniture, if you want to call it that look quite good. But again, you know, I think really Home Depot and stuff and Spirit do a great range of tombstones and stuff. So maybe, I don't know, you be the judge. Anyway, guys, that's it really. There's not a huge amount to talk about, but there's still things coming out. There's a possibility that at some point I might be putting a second video out about this, because there's rumours that perhaps we will be seeing some live footage of these things actually working, some sort of factory settings type footage, that kind of thing. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see. I would very, very interested to see what some of these props do before I can make a full judgment and assessment of them. So fingers crossed that happens relatively soon, probably while I'm uploading this video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.